Hi Santa Fe, my name is JoAnne Vigil Coppler and I'm running to be your next mayor. Well, I grew up in what is now termed South Capitol neighborhood, and I went to E.J. Martinez Elementary. Then I went to Harrington Junior High, which some of you may not know of, but it's not there anymore. It's right across the street, though, from where Wood Gormley is, and is now their playground. Then I went to Mid-High, which is where City Hall is, downtown. And that was a consolidated 9th grade, and that's where all the 8th graders went, and we converged on Mid-High. So everybody got to meet brand new people for the first time. And so it was kind of cool because, you know, you had your same friends for a long time. And after that, I went to Santa Fe High. I was a Santa Fe High School demon. Then graduated from there and went on to get my bachelor's degree at Eastern New Mexico University in Portales. Then started work full-time and decided to go on for my master's while I was still working, and went to University of New Mexico and got a master's degree in public administration. I got motivated to get into politics, and I didn't really think of it as politics, but I did work in City Hall. I worked under 2 different mayors, and during that time we had built such a great organization, so professional. Everyone was qualified to do their jobs. We all had a hand in working together as a team, and we had a mayor and a city manager who just created a real good team environment, and all of our departments worked wonderfully together. And Santa Fe's never, I don't think, been run as smoothly as it was then. So when I began to pay attention to our city government, I decided, well, this was long after I left, I know this can work better. I know this can be better. I know that we can govern our city so that we can have a really, really good professional government. There's a lot of frustration in our city. There's a lot of people talking about things that upset them, things that are bothersome. Some have personally experienced some very bad things, theft, people in their yards, passed out on drugs. I was just shown a photo yesterday of a woman who was totally passed out, drug overdose in the parking lot at Target. And luckily first responders came and gave her Narcan, and she apparently survived. I hope to this day she's still alive. This just happened, and a lot of our community is frustrated. We have high crime. It's not always reported and talked about, but people do talk about it because it's a very, very bad experience. People talk about taking their kids to the parks and how the parks aren't maintained like they used to be. They talk about debris, evidence of drug use, needles and such, and then of course just the grass dying and weeds growing and so on. And I don't, everybody looks around and talks about how the homeless are unhoused and don't have places to go. Maybe they don't want to go. So, my goal is to get into the mayor's chair, begin to focus on these things, focus hard and steady till we make really good progress. I've been there before. I've been working in the city when we had these things going on. We didn't allow things to fall apart. We had schedules, we had maintenance schedules, not only for parks and trash pickup and all of those things, but we had schedules for maintenance of buildings, maintenance of streets. All of those things we did not allow to fall apart. And so, my quest here in running for mayor is because Santa Fe isn't working for me. And it hasn't been for a long time. And I have to ask you, is it working for you? It's not working for many, many people. I don't think I talk to anyone most of the time who's talking about our city where Santa Fe is working for them. And so, I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I have the desire, I have the know-how, I have a proven track record, and that is what I intend to put to use. That's why I'm running for mayor. I've done it, I can do it, and I'll do it again. Santa Fe, if you elect me mayor, here's what you can expect from me. I have a 10-point plan to turn around Santa Fe, and that can be found on my website. And we're going to cover those points here. Point number 1, make Santa Fe safe. Did you know that Santa Fe is over 2.5 the national average in crime per capita? I do know how to work with the legislature, and I do know how to work in the judiciary, because we do need to do that in order to change and get through this catch and release thing. This is one of the biggest problems I think we have right now, is that we're spinning our wheels as our police force works very hard to get these people in jail. They need to stay there because the next day they're getting out. And all that police officers' work is for naught. This can't be happening. We can't be wasting our money. We can't be wasting our police officers' energy or their time in getting these criminals in jail for one night and the next day they're out. We've got to do some repair there. I have yet to see another candidate take such a strong stand on crime as I have. And I'll tell you, on day 1, I intend to take that stand on crime. This growing crime problem in our city is unacceptable. So point number 2 is make government accountable. We need to get our financial issues in order. We need to submit audits on time. We need to keep track of our money. We can't be wasting money. We need to set up matrices to keep things on target, on time, and less costly. What gets measured gets done. And how you do it, the best thing you do is follow the money. Track the money, make sure you're spending it wisely, and being held accountable to report to you, the taxpayers, on how we're doing. How are we spending it? Are we meeting the laws? Are we abiding by the laws the state sets in place for spending this money? And when you don't keep track of it, you're not going to have an efficiently run government. Point number 3, make Santa Fe affordable. There are many people in our community who already are stakeholders in helping us be successful. We've got the Santa Fe Home Builders, the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce, Santa Fe Housing Coalitions, we've got the Santa Fe Association of Realtors. We all have a responsibility to work together on this. And one of the biggest areas that I will concentrate on is our Planning and Land Use Department. That is really one of the organizations within city government that affects affordable housing. And a lot of it has to do with not updating our general plan, not providing a smooth, efficient, fast permitting system. When the Santa Fe Association of Realtors did their last study, they found that a personal homeowner who was waiting for a permit on a remodel job was about $20,000 a month added to their wait. A home builder waiting for a permit, it's like $40,000 a month. That's very costly. Guess who pays for that in the end? The person buying the house, because the home builder has to add that cost onto the price of the house. We have got to streamline our planning and land use department. We've got to get up to speed on updating the general plan, updating all of the matters that are the rules of the game, so to speak. And we've got to find more efficiencies in how the procedures are being followed and processed. Point number 4, we've got to solve the homelessness crisis. And again, there are many stakeholders that are already involved all over our city and are doing a fairly fine job, but it's not good enough because we're not all working together with one focus. There has to be political will to solve this problem. I don't think there's a general plan, if you will, for how we can go about making sure that we track and treat this as a case management system among all our homeless, where we become very familiar with what their needs are, and we can track whether they're getting ahead or not, and if not, why not? And then there are those who may not want help. They may not want to go to drug rehab. We need to treat them like we would anybody else. If they're breaking the law has to be enforced. But one thing for sure, we cannot allow vagrancy on our streets, in our parks. They either get the help that we can offer, and hopefully we will get to a point where we offer one-stop services, or if they're breaking the law, then they have to be adjudicated. That's all there is to it. Point number 5, put neighborhoods first. You know, we can't have the disparity, and we shouldn't have the disparity that we have now in our neighborhoods when we compare north side, east side to west side, south side. All of our cities should be maintained the same. We should look at our neighborhoods from a midtown point of view, where you go to the south, you know that those neighborhoods, streets, parks are getting just as much service, just as much attention as those that we see on the east side, on the plaza, over at Patrick Smith Park, or any of those east side parks. All of our parks should be beautiful. All of our streets should be maintained. All of our potholes should be fixed. We need to be sure that we're providing services all over town, looking at neighborhoods from a midtown point of view. And everybody should be proud of their neighborhoods, everyone. Point number 6, make our parks beautiful. You know, our parks serve as some of the only recreation that families can get because, you know, money's tight, and families have to make sure that they can pay their bills, pay their rent, pay their mortgage if they're lucky enough to have a home, and after that, there's not much else they can do for their kids. And so it is really cool and nice to take your kids to the park. Kids love to play. And we need to be sure that our parks can serve as a place where kids want to go, where parents want to go, and where everybody can have fun and be in a park that's safe and that's beautiful, where you don't find trash, where you don't find homeless people, vagrants running around or asleep or drug overdosed or whatever, and where kids can be kids. We need to provide good, clean, fun, wonderful looking parks for our children and for ourselves. We want to go there. We want to do things in our parks. They're important. They're important to the quality of life for every family, every person who lives here. Point number 7, respect and empower our city workers. You know, no mayor, no city manager, no department director can do this alone. They don't. They're only one person in each job. And who really does the work in our city? Who makes a difference? It's the employees. And I have a great deal of experience. Certainly my background has been in HR management, but then it went on into organizational development. And what makes successful organizations? It's the people. It's the people who work there. And, you know, you have to treat our employees, we have to treat our employees with good managers. We have to treat them with good respect. We have to be sure that we pay them, that we value them, and that we let them do their jobs, that they're trained to do their jobs so that they don't fail at anything, so that they're successful. And if we have successful employees, then we have a successful organization. That's it. It's simple. Treat your employees well, respect your employees, honor their contracts, honor their union contracts. I mean, hopefully They get what they've bargained for, and that's, it's not us against them. We all need to work together and collaborate and feel as one, feel as a team, because we are a team. City government is a team, and in the end, it's your team. So we have to make sure that we are serving you with the best that we can hire, with the best that we can train and put to work, and most importantly, that those employees are treated fairly, that they're valued, and that they're appreciated. If things get slipped up, well, then maybe the supervisor hasn't done their job and trained them right. I believe in good managers that can get these people excited about their jobs. They're well trained, they go to work, they like what they do, they know what they do, what they have to do, and their manager appreciates them. It should be that way everywhere. And they should be paid fairly, and they should be treated fairly within their organization and their counterparts, the employees who work side by side. Everybody should be treated with dignity and respect and without favoritism, and they should know, I come to work and I'm going to be appreciated. That should permeate throughout the organization, not just in the police department, not just in the fire department, but everywhere. Point number 8, recruit and retain qualified city leadership. We have got to hire the best, most qualified department directors, division directors, and so on. Not because of who they know, but because of what they can do, how they can get this city moving forward, offering the best essential services because they know how to manage people. And so it's really a matter of hiring the best qualified department directors, division directors, supervisory chain of command, so that they know how to treat employees and they know how to work with them on their development. Speaking of HR, we've got to have a good HR department that knows how to keep the compensation on even keel to make sure that we're marketable, that we aren't losing our employees to other organizations just for better pay. We need to appreciate employees and be sure we're paying them comparable to what other counterparts are paying. That's not happening right now. It's not happening right now. I can tell you that with all my being. And that's important to me as a mayor. I think that's something, it all starts there. It all starts and it trickles around, and we need to get people in qualified people in positions and make sure that they know how to do their jobs. Point number 9, build partnerships with the city council. No mayor can accomplish any of this alone. We need to work together as a group, as a governing body, and I will work with the city council to establish relationships, establish a team spirit, to make each one feel like they're going to be in their positions to offer their constituents what they were elected to do. Every one of us has a stake in this partnership that we will build. And, because one city councilor is doing something that's good for their organization, is good for the whole city, not just their district. So we need to work as one team spirit. That's how I like to work. That's how you build a city. That's how you reinvent the city. That's what we need to do, is reinvent how we're doing things. And we have to do it together. And frankly, it's much more fun to work together as a team than any other way, because then we can get all of the things that we promised the city, we promised you, the electors, and the taxpayers, that we would do to make Santa Fe the best it can be. Point number 10, solve the Midtown project. Get an ending to this, put a period on it. Let's get Midtown to be the campus, the organization, the conglomerate of all kinds of good things for the city. We went out and asked the public, what do they want to see with this property? And there were so many good ideas. And it has taken much too long to get this project going. There's a plan in place. There's many other decisions that need to be done. We still owe a great amount of money on this project. So we need to see some income once and for all. And so, it's just taken too long. I intend to get this project off the ground and in the rear view mirror so that our community can enjoy the space like we all said we wanted to. What sets me apart is that I have a lot of experience that they don't have. I have worked in all three branches of government: state government, the judiciary, the legislative branch, and that includes local government. I've worked at the city of Santa Fe 2 times under 2 different mayors, and I've worked at Los Alamos County. No other candidate has done that. Number 2, I've worked for 2 governors. No other candidate has done that. I have a master's degree in public administration, and while maybe one other candidate might have that, I actually taught in public administration at the graduate level as an adjunct professor at UNM. And so, I've tested the mettle. I have a great reputation, and I was asked to work back at these organizations because I've had that reputation. So I have had a great deal of experience. And so getting back to the city and city government, I've not only worked in city government, I have actually hired a police chief. A few times I've hired many of the rank and file in the police department, deputy police chiefs, captains, lieutenants, and so on. I also did this at Los Alamos County. I can guarantee no other candidate running for mayor has ever hired a police chief, has ever hired a fire chief, has ever hired a public works director, has ever hired a tourism convention center director, or any of these other important positions. I have. I know how to do it. I have a great deal of well-rounded experience. And when I worked as deputy director at the New Mexico Supreme Court, I had a hand in working with all of the judges around the state, district judges, magistrate judges, and some municipal judges. So, when you think about a candidate that you want to vote for mayor, ask yourself, who can get in there and start working? Who can get in there because she's not a trainee? This isn't a trainee position. This is the real thing. And, we know what's happened to Santa Fe when you choose a mayor who serves as a trainee. Not a lot gets done. A lot of mistakes get made. And, with me, you're not going to take that chance because I've done it. I've been in there and I know how to do things. And I don't think any other candidate really can come to the table with the experience that I've had to get going, to run things on day one. And with regard to crime, I tell you, I believe in enforcing the law, and that's what I'll do. And I want a police chief and the team that gets put in place in the police department to have the best that they can have, to have trained force, a trained workforce, to have equipment that is going to protect them so that they can go home to their families, and to know that they're supported, that when they make arrests, that those criminals are going to stay where they belong, or they're going to get treatment. And that's what we need to do. And there's not this rampant crime that's going on in our city should not be happening. So when you're looking at the candidates, ask them. Ask them, have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? How will you do it? This is the key thing. You can like somebody, and all the candidates are likable. They are. But that doesn't get you to be a good mayor. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And so you need to think about who can get in there, who has the experience, the most experience, that has done it, or pretty closely has done it, and who has a good track record, who can get started on day one and start making a difference. And that's me. I'll tell you right now, I'm running for mayor. I'm making no bones about it. That is me, and I ask for your vote. Thank you for listening. I'm JoAnne Vigil Coppler.